Welcome back to the Michael and Ellis Show. Oh, it's been so long, friends. We've moved. I've grown facial hair. Sean's here. It's a lot's changed.
A lot has changed.
I
Oh,
know.
welcome back. Thank you for joining us, Sean.
Yeah, anytime. Glad to be a part of the welcome back show. It's like a grand reopening. It's like we introduced a new item on the menu, and now we're testing it out. So it's great.
Back
Exactly.
just in time for season 50.
Season of the
Monumental season.
fans.
So if we want, I can jump into just a quick summary of the episode, and then we can get into our thoughts. We did start the premiere off with a kind of big compilation summary of the entire history of the show, which I'll be interested to hear your thoughts. Then we started right off on the beach. They had the challenge for fire and flint, which I believe Purple won that. They got the big bonfire when they returned back to their beach.
Yeah, they like
And
demolished.
and then that led into they had a little individual reward between Q, Ozzy, and Coach, which Ozzy got off ahead to start, but then they kind of got all roadblocked right at the end with the key, and Ozzy tried to let both of them know that at this point they've been trying to get it for so long that whoever gets it off the rung should deserves to win it. And Ozzy gets it off, and then Coach squirms in there to try and steal it at the last
Hey,
second.
he stole it with integrity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what
Okay. I
counts.
forgot about the integrity.
It's all about doing it with integrity.
Was that at the director's
then-
cut? Or?
It's the Michael Bunning cut. It's the Dragon Slayer cut. Q and Ozzy go to Exile Island, which is a throwback classic. For those that have big Survivor fans, they would recognize the return of Exile. Orange ends up losing immunity, which Kyle gets injured in, and Jenna ends up going home, the first person voted off from 50, and from the original first season, which is bittersweet, but also somewhat poetic history rhyming there. And then we kind of have a chill latter fourth of the episode where Genevieve does find the Billie Eilish boomerang idol and gives it to Ozzy.
I can't get over that. Not the Billie Eilish idol.
And then Kyle is unfortunately medevaced with a torn Achilles.
Yes.
If we could just linger on the Billie Eilish idol, I just thought it was immediately when that came up, the first thing that crossed, because Ellis, you and I obviously did scoring for the league. The first thing that crossed my mind is, how are we going to score this? Like, what is
what does the Billie Eilish idol count as?
We can figure it out, but yeah, that was too funny.
Do you guys think there will be a Billie Eilish boomerang idol on every camp, or do you think each one will have their own unique celebrity idol? I
think the latter. I think they're each going to have. I think they're going to try to do something different for each show.
Yeah.
Then think about. Oh, go ahead, Michael.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, I know Mr. Beast has some appearance at some point, which I'm dreading, but
yeah,
I know he's involved.
Do we need to make an over/under? What episode does Mr. Beast appear?
Literally.
You get points in the league if you guess correctly.
Yeah, anyone who can guess.
I gotta be next episode.
No, I think they're gonna go later than that. I think it's gonna be
really?
like episode.
You have to earn Mr. Beast, Ellis. Okay, you have to be on the island for.
Because they teased it. I think people are gonna stick around to see Mr. Beast. They teased it early, so I think the only thing about the boomerang idol is that if they gave it to other tribes, it would give away the idol, like it would give away if Ozzy's tribe got it and Ozzy's ally found the boomerang idol, it would give away his idol. So I don't think they would do that to him.
Yeah.
Like
You think so?
you know, well, I just think that would defeat the purpose of like the whole twist of it is that it's kind of a dramatic irony thing. Like we know about it and he doesn't. And then if he all of a sudden knows about it, that kind of defeats the point.
Right. He doesn't know that it's going back to Genevieve if he gets voted out with
Yeah.
it.
But if his biggest ally finds the same idol, then he does know.
That's true.
Yeah, I do think it's funny how it's phrased where like when Ozzy gets it, it's like someone like really like believes in you, and it's like no, actually it's the opposite. Like they actually think that like you're like gonna get voted out so soon and that you have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah, basically, I
We
think this
also-
person's most likely to get blindsided. That's what.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
We also did see in the original trailer that Rick Devens and Christian Hubicki are talking about something about the Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
Was it the knowledge is power or something? I don't know. There was something about Jimmy Fallon that they come into contact with. So we'll have to wait and see when that pops up. But let's rewind a bit. What did you guys think of the like initial beginning history of the entire show? There were some pretty niche callbacks. We had one just of this random woman falling on the ground. Did you guys remember? Did you catch that part?
no, I can't say I remember.
Okay.
It didn't stick for me. I don't know. I mean, it was cool to see how far it's came. I mean, I watched like probably the seasons, a lot of them from like 25 through 35, and then kind of picked it back up in college, being like episode like the mid 40s. So to see some of the early stuff that I kind of heard about, or maybe like seen in glimpses or in
Vaguely.
passing, like was kind of cool. And then bridging into the new era, I thought was it was just an interesting take on it. And you're like, how, I mean, the big one was like, God, that was Jeff. Like, wow, he looks different.
I know. He looks so different. He looks so like frat bro. Like
I know. But I thought it was a cool like homage to it, and definitely learned a lot. Or added some context, or like a nice reminder of kind of where we came from.
Yeah,
I think
I
it was
thought it
definitely a
was
good
really
mix.
cool. Like I thought it was cool to see, especially like the especially the quality in video changing so much. Like you could really tell when it was old seasons. But I did
Literal eras.
I know. It did kind of make me feel though like there was that one thing, I don't know who it was, but it was like some kid like helping like children from like a village or something, or some like guy, and he was like, this is the most like profound experience, and I was kind of like, man, they don't really do anything like that anymore, but they're like highlighting it, which was kind of like, I mean, I guess they did do it at one point, but I was like, man, why don't they like ever bring that back or anything? Like they can't go anywhere in Fiji, meet any Fiji locals. That not good enough.
I have written down here I feel like we had the Teal tribe had some pretty like memorable moments back at the base camp with Coach's toe rings. Charlie trying on Coach's toe ring. And then Mike White randomly being like kind of jacked.
He's so ripped. What the fuck?
Following everyone else. Yeah.
He's on those White Lotus gym memberships, man. He's got all the time in the world.
God, I need that gym membership.
Yeah, if you were on the beach on Survivor with Coach and he offered you his toe ring, would you try it on?
No.
I mean, I can say no from here, but then like the second I get out there, I know I peer pressured into it. But yeah.
I would be like, no. Like for me, it depends like whose toe ring, and I'm like, Coach's, no, I don't want that. Especially when he was.
a
That
natural
toe
question.
ring's
Then,
been on
Michael.
his foot longer than I've been alive. And
Whose, whose toe ring would you say yes to? I need your top 5.
Genevieve's. Genevieve's toe ring, absolutely 100%.
Yeah.
Would do it.
That's fun. Yeah.
Um,
Ellis, what about you?
Yeah, putting on a toe ring.
Who else would be most likely to have a toe ring besides Coach? Like,
That's a good
it's the
question.
most like Dragon Slayer-esque, uh, just like so random. I don't even. It's like what? What's the type of person to wear a toe ring? Is that something about like his like spirituality or?
It kind of
Yeah.
gives like 70s hippie.
Yeah. That's usually not like an icebreaker question. Like, I think someone could be wearing it. I have no idea. It's
It's like a jubilee. Which one is wearing a toe ring?
It's hard to tell.
Jonathan. I could see Jonathan kind of rocking like a sneak toe ring.
Oh my gosh.
My parents
Yeah.
who had watched Survivor, I had to explain to them Jonathan's challenge from years back, the legendary water challenge.
And the ladder.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They were astounded. So I kind of regretted not rewatching it.
What were your guys? This was some of your first time seeing some of the all-time legends between like Coach and Ozzy. I guess might have seen a bit of Suri from like different shows, but like from your first impression as someone who you guys haven't watched those earlier seasons, what were your thoughts?
Well, I guess Coach is definitely interesting. Like the whole like integrity thing or whatever. I think it's funny how so many of them have like past with each other. I think that's what makes it really interesting because there's like a lot of layers between that where people who I think it was literally Ozzy and Suri, right? Because Suri got Ozzy voted out one season, but now they're like, we're gonna work together. So I thought that was really cool and interesting because it adds like
they tried to work together in Game Changers too, but I think Ozzy was a little cagey, or Suri was, but Ozzy was a little cagey, and she was just like, I'm not feeling it. So this is like their like third time's the charm. All right, we're really gonna. I mean, Ozzy's kind of going full forth. Like he literally he tells Suri about his extra vote. We'll see if he tells Suri about his boomerang idol as well.
I know he has both of those. Big episode for him.
Yeah, top point scorer of the episode. Little spoiler alert.
I genuinely thought he was gonna go home. Like
he had 19 confessionals, and the closest person behind him was Q and Savannah with 9, and Coach with 8. So like, yeah, Ozzy had a pretty huge performance.
Just lingering on the Ozzy going home, I was quaking in my boots a little bit. I thought, for sure. It looked like I'm like, oh, they're gonna flip this, and all of a sudden he's on the way out with like everything in his pocket, right? Like he's got, but no, he managed to survive.
Which I feel is like very. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ellis, because I started watching mid 40s, but I feel like having a last minute plan that like flips everything on its head is very new era, and then to watch that kind of the editors be like, oh, it may happen, and then it's like no, 7-1, or I don't know if Ozzy uses extra vote, but like basically unanimous against Jenna, which was seemed more old school.
Yeah, I think the editors were definitely trying to make it a little unclear because it did end up being unanimous. I think the biggest point to that was hinting to what really was going to happen was Christian telling Emily and Rick, I believe, was, hey, listen, we don't want to be going back to camp with a fractured tribe. And I think on a returnee season, a lot of them are also thinking about tribe swaps. And they're a tribe swap on a returning season is also a little less of an unknown because there's not strangers on the other tribe. You actually know those people. So I think they're a little more weary about burning someone and then being swapped onto a tribe with them and then being down on the numbers. And from my, like, I think one of my biggest takeaways from this episode was the kind of old school players did play a lot more. I mean, it was mainly Coach and Ozzy and their feud, but even Jenna, they weren't really afraid to show emotions, and they weren't worried about how it may be portrayed on the show. They were going to show those more like negative feelings, whether they really disliked someone or they really wanted to get someone out and they didn't care if it was going to like come across like they were being like an asshole or something.
Which I loved. I thought Jenna's final
Yeah.
confession was so fucking funny. She's like, I hope everyone loses. I hate it here. I'm leaving. Goodbye.
I hope they lose every challenge. Right?
Yeah. I was like, oh, I'd have the similar confessional. I'd be thinking the same thing.
I felt like she had a good last confessional where she kind of took it on the chin. Like she did a good job not getting overly emotional about being the first one out or overly bitter, but there was still a little resentment there that kind of bubbled over, which was like, I thought she struck that balance really well. I wish she had struck a similar balance in her gameplay, which is a little more aggressive. But I do think it was interesting, like you said, that she, old school was always like they were voting out whoever doesn't help around camp, and like there wasn't very strategic. And she came out was probably the most aggressive player, like almost straying from her, natural, I guess, instinct there, which was really cool. Like someone who had just watched 48 seasons of Survivor from afar comes in and is like, I know what I have to do,
Jenna has always played well, season 1 is a little bit different because everyone was still kind of figuring out how the game worked besides Hatch, who ended up going to win. But Jenna did return on All Stars, and she was like the leading voice to be targeting all of the winners, and all of the winners that were on All Stars got eliminated within the pre-merge pretty early on. And so it kind of seemed like she was trying to take a similar route. And Sari, honestly, do you guys think the Orange Tribe made the right decision voting Jenna out, or do you think?
No.
I think they're going to come in. Yeah.
Like I think don't get me wrong, I'm so happy Sari stayed because I like Sari. If she left first, that would have been worse than Jenna leaving. But I feel like not only is this like a great time to get like a social threat out, you can also like play it dumb and be like, she just lost the challenge for us, and I think we should just do that. Like whoever loses the challenge, even if it's a complete lie, it's like you're actually doing it because she's a social threat, but you can say it's because of the challenge. And I thought that gave them like the perfect opportunity. Plus, oh, sorry, wait.
You just reminded me, there was no mention of the shot in the dark the entire episode, was there?
I don't think so.
I don't recall. I mean, nobody I don't think really felt on the hot seat, but
I assume so.
I do wonder if there's something funny going on with that this season that they're just going to address later,
Maybe they just quietly didn't include it, and they'll never.
The fans decided
that still in.
Because my thing is, I feel like Jenna was the safest vote they could have done. Which I mean, like, I get that probably like if you're on 50, you're like, oh shit, this is my moment, and like I have to like last as long as possible. So I think they might be like scared to like do a huge move immediately. But I'm just like, I feel like Jenna didn't have a connection with anyone. Like, she was clearly, like, all of her cards were on her table. Like, you knew where her head was at. I feel like, I don't know. I'm a very firm believer that if someone goes home in a unanimous vote and you're not, like, at the top of, like, the pecking order, then you made a mistake. Like, if you are not running shit and there's a unanimous vote, like, I think that's a mistake.
Well, let's switch tracks a bit to the Purple Tribe with Kyle. They got a big loss in the immunity challenge. He ruptures his Achilles, fully tears it. I thought it was pretty cool that they had the kind of portable ultrasounds to kind of see if examine his Achilles just like on the beach right there. I don't think pretty sure they have not done that before, so maybe that's a little season 50 medical upgrade there, which was pretty cool, but really unfortunate because Kyle seems to be in a really good spot, especially with Q and Genevieve, who are two people I hope will continue to make it farther in this game. But now with Kyle gone, it seems a little more shaky.
I did feel like when he even said in one of his confessionals, it was like, I'm in a really good spot right now. Like it was like, and then I was like, oh, that's the beginning of the end. Like they're definitely gonna pull they never let that slide and then don't pull the rug out from under the player. And
it is true. I'm sure there's a lot of people that have said that have been in a good spot and then don't go home, and they just don't show it because it's like, well, we're not gonna like show.
No, there's no point. Like I'm in a good spot, and then you learn later on that they are in fact in a good spot. Like that's not. It was like he's like, I'm in a good spot. You're like, oh, this is he's doomed now. And sure enough,
it's over. It's so over.
I mean, and they actually, I think they did a good job with his send off. Like, I think a lot of his tribe mates hit the nail on the head. Where like even just for the season, it's a big loss, right? Not only for them or for the tribe. Like just losing him as a figure on the season. He's such an entertaining player to watch, and he had such a good season and was one of the returning winners. So you kind of wonder how they're going to interact with that. But it's a bummer. But yeah, it was. Anyway, predictable, I guess, to an extent.
Even though he was only one episode, I think this showing kind of cemented his win on 48 as well. Like, see
it wasn't
48 kind of dominate, and you're like, okay, well, is that just like a weak? Was the cast just kind of not the most aggressive or strategic cast? But now in 50 against real returnees and good players, he was also still just charming all of them. So. Kind of also retroactively like boosts his 48 performance as well if you're trying to rank them.
Plus he does get like to say the awesome thing of like, I could have won 50. I was so gonna win 50, but then
Kyle still has yet to be voted out on Survivor. It hasn't happened.
This is true.
Maybe is he the only player to play twice and not be voted out either time? Is that
so? He's not the first person to do it. Sandra, of course, the first two times she played, she was not voted out, but that's also because she won her first two seasons. And then there was there was like one other person that they may come back to me a little bit later. I'll try and think about it. But I mean, yeah, that's a pretty. You never want. It's a cool thing to be able to say, but maybe not for the best reason. Getting meta back is not the greatest.
And then just to linger on the Kyle getting leaving the game.
Mm-hmm.
I myself drafted Camilla in our Survivor League, and I've been debating myself in my head the positive and negative. Is it good for her game? Is it bad for her game that he's out? Like, because people are immediately going to suspect them as a duo if they both made it to the merge, or the fact that now she kind of gets to play her own game if she does in fact make it that far. is that better for her in the long run? Or was she, is she going to be targeted? So I think not having that ally obviously hurts. It does, but I think there are some advantages. Basically I was like, do I just dump Camilla now because but
Gotta get rid of
no,
her.
John's already thinking about his stock market, which
Yeah.
I think we can get to in a minute. But Michael, do you have any thoughts on Camilla's game?
I think it's interesting that she's teaming up with Dee and Tiffany. And
that might be a
I'm very
tight
much
trio.
excited to see Camilla outside of a 48 contact. She even had this confessional herself. She was like, I come from the season of integrity. Fuck that. I want to backstab. I want to do like crazy things, and like now is a prime season for her to do that. So I am excited for her to do that. I think in this content, and I think it's also to get back to Sean's point, I think it's a great thing for Camilla's game that Kyle is gone. Mostly just so it's like you can really see Camilla's game without Kyle. I felt like 48 was very like Kyle focused, and Camilla was like his sidekick more so. So I'm glad that like that won't happen like again this season. I'm sad that Kyle left, but
and also Joe's game too. I'll be interested to see both of their reactions when they get to the next immunity challenge. And
I do think it's interesting that Joe seems to be kind of bitter with how 48 ended. Because he was like, what did he say? He was like, they gave me a wedgie on national television, is what he said about Kyle and Camilla. So I don't know if he's doing that as like a strategy to be like, guys, I'm like, I swear I'm not gonna work with them again. I'm like definitely solo. But in reality he's not. I don't know if it's for that or if he actually feels that way.
I think Joe also has pretty like decent strategic chops. It's more of like even in 48, he had some confessionals where like he's clearly thinking about the game. It's just more of selling it once he gets to the end. Because then he just tries to sell it as this, oh, I'm loyal, blah 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 blah. Not like acknowledging the fact that he's not like giving himself credit that he was like lying to people and deceiving them. And in this premiere, I thought it was interesting seeing how he was talking to people, trying to be like, guys, Suri and Ozzy are a huge like duo, which is kind of ironic for Joe to be saying that.
Yeah, because him and
we
Eva
have to get this pair out, guys.
It's almost like I did this and it worked so well for me. I don't want to. I don't. I've seen
it. But how about let's get to, Sean has created an insane spreadsheet. We've changed up the scoring a bit in our fantasy league. Sean, as you get it ready, I can kind of explain the concept. Essentially, we've been kind of trying to think of, we've had this idea for a little while, but haven't been able to implement it until this season. Essentially, it's a live Survivor stock market, and it has all the same scoring as the previous seasons. The only difference is their performances, whether it be confessionals or advantages, challenges, that affects their score, which is as a result affects their price on this market. And then as we can buy and sell our holdings that we have of shares in each contestant, that'll also affect their price as well. And Sean, if you want to share your screen, we can do a little
demo.
After the first episode, I believe Abby.
Abby's our top player
in the lead
because she's got Ozzy and Coach.
Yeah. And then, don't be afraid by all the numbers that are thrown at you when you first look at it. It's not as overwhelming as it may seem. But as you can see, Sean, what you bought, basically.
Everybody started out with 3 contestants, each worth $300,000 in cash, which would be 30 shares. So I had some money left. Everyone has a little money left over, so I had already used mine to buy some shares of D. So yeah, you can see my cash is down a little more than everyone else.
Broke.
Michael, do you have a purchase that you would like to make?
Oh yeah, we can watch this in live time.
So Michael, you too.
Yeah, so for reference, I picked this time Sari, Genevieve, and unfortunately Jenna, because I was like, she's from the first season. They can't get rid of her first. They could. And they did. So so now I guess gotta pivot a little. So I can still sell the stock for Jenna, right?
So the way we've worked it is that you can sell Jenna. So you can either keep this whole value, all 322, in your portfolio, or what you can do is on the Survivors page, you can sell Jenna, but you have to sell at half price. So you can sell and you'll only get half back, but then you can reinvest that into somebody else. So there is a penalty for your holdings getting eliminated. But there's a way to work yourself back into the game. Especially early on, right? Values, everyone's net worth is still relatively close to what they started at. So if you invest in the right people, you can work your way back up.
Interesting. Okay, so I'm trying to think about the long term for myself, and I think I'd want to like sell Jenna and then invest as much money I could into Emily. Is I think what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
So do you want me to take care of that transaction for you?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's show the viewers.
Not the transaction form.
Transactional process.
Yeah. Let's all run through a Google form. So you're gonna.
We're very official with this. This has to be by the books. There's no insider trading here. We're against that.
Live.
Yes. So,
okay, I'm gonna go refresh. See.
Saying the pros of having friends that actually like spreadsheets. This is great. I would hate doing this.
As Sean is fixing that, Michael, is there any other thoughts that we might have missed in our recap? Reactions? And if you want to switch back to the grid view, just so it's not a big.
No. It's been grid view the whole time.
Okay.
Now, Michael, what you can see is you're now in 15th place, unfortunately.
Let's go.
So clearly that was the right decision.
I think so. Hey.
You can buy any of these. If you want to invest all of your funds into someone, you can. So if you said Emily, and the max shares you could buy of Emily is 23. You want to try that?
Yes, let's do that.
Another response?
Is there another form?
You have to make, yeah, you're doing a buy form now. So.
Oh, gosh, you understood. This is a two-form process.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm filing taxes all over again.
Okay, and then we'll go to trade processor. So Emily, you're buying 23 shares of Emily. That much cash impact. You have that cash remaining. So that's just under and that.
Oh my gosh.
And that'll.
Michael, why are you buying Emily?
I saw how. So I think Emily's in a really good position on her tribe where I feel like if people will be targeting each other, I don't think anyone's gonna come for Emily first. I also think that she's being like edited in a pretty interesting way where she like clearly like offers ideas and stuff. Like she was the one that pitched like Ozzy. So I'm kind of interested to see what she's going to do. I think she might end up doing like some pretty like crazy moves, and I hope that I can cash in on that later. Plus she's like close with Christian and Rick, and I feel like if you look at that trio, I don't think anyone's
trio.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna target Emily first from that trio. I think it's probably gonna be like Christian. So that's my reasoning.
So, Michael, if we take a look at the leaderboard now, you've moved into 15th place.
Perfect. This is what I've always wanted.
Some other people. Did anyone else have Jenna?
No, I think Michael was the only one with Jenna. A couple people do have Kyle.
Did you had
so Michael?
Kyle? No.
Gosh, I don't.
Emily had Kyle.
Emily had Kyle. Gianna had Kyle, and
oof.
Yeah.
Rough.
So it's not a distant 15th, Michael.
I'll catch up. I believe in myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's how this runs. Obviously, some still, always every day is a work in progress with this sheet.
But yes, we officially have. Thanks very much to Sean's work. We have our own stock market now, so we will be doing the fantasy this way. I'm excited to see how it plays out. Hopefully, it keeps everyone can be involved constantly, switching things up.
Yeah. The reason I think part of the big benefit to it is that it can keep people involved throughout the season. I felt like in past years, sometimes you two people get out pre-merge, and your game's pretty much as a fantasy player. With this, it's a little more active throughout. Now, there is still a chance, like in Michael's case, if Suri goes home next week, that's not a great look for him, and that it would be very overcome that, but it's still definitely doable, and you're able to kind of claw your way back and still be interested in what's happening in the game and take that into account throughout the season. And with the addition of us kind of knowing all the players, the draft wasn't exactly blind this year, so it was a good way to kind of handle that.
Yeah, very true.
Oh, yeah.
I guess for last question, who do you guys think is going to go home next, and why?
Well, I do think it'd be really funny if
Ozzy goes home.
No, I think it'd be epic if he is able to use the boomerang idol successfully and save himself and Suri. I do have a theory. Ozzy and Suri were both on like the red carpet at some point, and then they were both on Jimmy Fallon with Charlie, and maybe I'll be proven to be horribly wrong soon, but I feel like Ozzy and Suri, this duo, will make it to merge. That's my big hot take, I guess I'll say, to end off this episode. And as for who's going home, I don't know. I'm worried about Chrissy. Like her interaction with Coach this premiere, I might be doing some selling and buying after this pod, to say the least.
I'm not sure how it'll play out after Kyle got out, but my fear because this is one of the players I drafted, is Aubrey could be. She had such a strange interaction with Genevieve.
That was so weird.
That too.
And it was like they both went into it with just the worst mentality. And if Genevieve is positioning herself like Queen Bee again, I don't know how bode well for Aubrey, and myself is like, ooh, am I? At what point do I consider offloading that stock to go for someone, maybe buy someone else. But
Right.
I think I'm gonna hang on to Aubrey for another episode and then see how
Ooh.
it plays out. But definitely some
Whoa.
risk there. Definitely, yeah. I'm not sure if I want to be the first to sell an act.
Yeah, who knows? She might pop off next episode.
Yeah,
Survive.
exactly. So
But you think Aubrey, if you had to guess?
I think she's nearing, like, I think she's within the next 4 episodes could be in danger. Go to tribal.
4 episodes.
got yourself some time there.
Yeah. We don't even know how many players are going to be going home by episode 5.
And maybe the next 4 votes, she's in danger. We'll say. I think it's
okay.
One thing I will linger on before we leave is I could not stop laughing at how horrible they tried to make Exile Island sound. And I was like, guys, how different is it from the camp you could have been going back to at this point? Sometimes they go to Exile Island and they've set up their camp pretty well at that point. So it's like, all right, you're missing out on the shelter and all that. These guys, I mean, like, you're on a beach. You would be on a beach with nothing also at camp. It's not that. There's a strategic aspect that you're missing out on, but they're like, oh, Exile Island is hell on earth. I'm like, it's not that much than what you would have been doing had you just been with your tribe, other than
there was bugs, Sean. There was
bugs
crawling on them.
Bugs everywhere. It's it's not like they're in the Four Seasons Hotel at the Orange Tribe. It's also outside. I think when you get later on and they have a tarp and pillows in the shelter and it's raining, and then they're like, yeah, Exile Island sucks. I think that'll be fair. But for the first episode, they spent one night. I was like, come on, guys. I know that they're asking you to drum it up, but this is ridiculous.
Do you think Exile will be a reoccurring twist, or do you think that was just a premiere special?
I think it'll has to be.
I think yeah.
I hope it stays too. I think Exile is a big part of the history of Survivor, and honestly, probably the most successful separate islands. We have Exile Island, Redemption Island, Edge of Extinction, all these different islands that they've tried to work. But Exile has definitely been the best iteration.
Yeah. I think they'll use it once again to kind of create alliances aside from the tribes. Have Ozzy and Q meet up, and then maybe they're, I don't know if those two necessarily strategize too much. But I think people will meet up there to strategize, and they like to use that as a storyline, and potentially even as their other tribe mates to go, well, they were on Exile together. You got to keep an eye out on those two.
It's also
work.
Yeah, it's also just kind of like a third space. I mean, I feel like people have been talking. At least I've had a couple conversations just in outside of Survivor. Just you have your work life, your home life, and then the third space is something that people have been missing. And on the show Survivor, it's kind of like your challenges, camp life, and then the journeys aren't enough to be this third space. Exile is a cool spot where someone can make a connection and add a little more depth to these relationships.
Yeah, I'm excited to see if there's going to be stuff hidden on Exile, because I know the fans voted for there to be as many advantages as possible. Yeah. So I'm interested to see what kind of advantages would be on Exile.
I did completely forget to mention that Mike, White, Savannah, and Colby did go on a journey, and Savannah ended up winning the a block of vote.
But no one and she told people she won nothing, but no one believed her.
Yeah. I did think it was really funny to watch Colby's 180 on Rizzo in
yeah, that was so
in genuinely 20 minutes. It was he talked to them, he talked to the producers,
annoying.
And then the next talking head he had was this kid's all right. And then all of a sudden Rizzo's like crying in front of him, and he was like, oh, this is,
Do you think he was shitting on Rizzo, and the producer's like, well, Colby, you were 25 when you first played. Like,
Yeah.
don't you think
It's
this
like,
kind of reminds you or something?
yeah,
Or
well, you might be on to something else. Is that they like threw him a curveball, and then all of a sudden he was, oh yeah,
he was
or like
coaxed
kind of
him
hinted at
into
like, why don't you try to be nice in the first day?
Well,
and the fashion show, that was pretty fun as
the
well.
fashion show. Oh my God, Genevieve's red jacket. So good. We had a little watch party at our house, and we all raved about me and like 2 other people raved about the red jacket.
And the watch party, yeah.
Yes. It was a must.
It was a huge party, Sean, and you wish you could have been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad to be on the East Coast this time, I guess. So
Sean's like, I'm never going out there.
Sorry. And with that,
Zoom's close enough, yeah.
With that note, thank you all for coming back for our long hiatus, jumping straight back into season 50. Hopefully we'll be a little more on time and poignant with our episodes. We had some technical difficulties, but thank you for patiently bearing with us, and we will be back, we promise. And hopefully we keep getting some pretty banger episodes of Survivor. This premiere was pretty, albeit 3 hours long. It was pretty entertaining, I would say. It was a good premiere.
Yeah, I think it was one of my favorites.
Yeah. I had no idea. I thought for sure we were in for a 90-minute show, and then it was like, oh, this is going to take my night. So good.
This is the only activity that will be happening.
Yeah, exactly. I thought I was going to be doing something after. Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Lock in. Time to survive, Sean. You have to dig deep.
I dug deep to get through that episode.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We will see you again next week with our takes for episode 2. Until then, bye, friends!